Gather closely, noble commanders. For today, our anticipation reaches its zenith with the unveiling of the balance update. Okay. Now that we're done with that. Of course, I thought it wouldn't be the day that it would be without a little bit of praise to begin, okay? For the fate of Skaven is indeed what I'm most interested in today. Today is one of those days. It's a big day today, okay? We got the Battlescroll coming out. We've all waited months for this. And I have to say, in the past, when it's been delayed, I've been slightly disappointed. But that's not going to happen this time. It's not going to happen this time, alright? Anyway, I hope you're all well. Obviously, it's been a little while since I've been on the old YouTube. I've still been around on the onwards and that kind of thing, but what have I been doing? Well, I had my birthday and the end of the uni semester, so to be honest, I had a little bit of a bender, but that's over now, okay? We're back on the clean lifestyle, alright? Living clean and playing Skaven, alright? Now, this stream, basically my plan is for today, I'm going to be streaming here for a while, and we're going to talk about some things that I hope are in the Battlescroll, some hopes, some dreams, some ideas, okay? I'm going to be doing a little bit of a tier list with regards to what I feel, an emotional tier list, not a very Stuart tier list, but an important tier list indeed. How do I feel about factions going in? And then over on the Onwards Discord, I will be doing my live reaction with head coach Darren, and we will be, doing the classic React Andy things over there. And then I'll probably come back over here, and just depending on what my missus is doing tonight. I will come back later, but I don't know when it will be. And I will be doing kind of my post thoughts. And then later this week or early next week, I will have a podcast out on Onwards, which will be me and Coach Luke going through the Battlescroll, what we think, and probably also playing a game. So that's what you have to look for in terms of content from me. I will just make sure I have the chat open. As you all know, I'm not as familiar with this whole streaming shindig as kind of pre-recorded content. I just seen Al in the chat. How you doing? Yes. Now, it's important that we have also, yeah, for those who don't know, that speech I had at the start is a ChatGPT speech. If you want to have like a really like kind of shit but also entertaining speech, I do recommend just asking ChatGPT. So I had little Stuart embellishments in there, but that's always good fun. But yeah, so today, if I just change this, boom. Okay, look at Stu with another tier maker, but it's a bit different. Okay, so I probably need to zoom in a bit. Let's do it like that. All right. So, okay, this is well, basically, how do I feel about everyone today? That's what I'm going to be doing today. It's an emotional day, right? Of course, the logic and the intelligence can come later. For now, it's important that we just enjoy the day for what it is, which is new, exciting, interesting. Okay. I just got a text from Luke Morton saying today is the day I'm going to whack one out light on TV. That's not true. All right. This is not true. Okay. If Skaven are not dead, I'm going to be restrained. All right. But okay. So let's go through each of these categories. So basically it's from, okay, I think they're going to be good. It stonks. Okay. And then, I hope they're going to be good, which is Hopium. And Copium, probably nothing's going to change, but like, we'll get like 10 points down on a unit we're not going to take. Doomium, kind of speaks for itself. Probably not very good. And then Rip and Pepperonis, there's a few factions here which we'll put in this section where I think it's all over. Yeah. Now, I don't know anything about the Battlescroll. I don't know what's in it. Even if I did, of course, I couldn't talk about it on YouTube. So, we will be doing this in the sense of what I think will be in there, and also looking at the current state of things. Okay? Now, I don't have the other tier list that I did in the previous video up, but first of all, in that video, I said I was going to do some concrete balance changes. The reason I didn't make that video is because I thought that, like, every time I sat down to make that video, I thought that the Battlescroll was going to come down the next day, because, like, usually Wednesday is pretty good for me to make videos, right? And I was like, do I really want to make a video that's going to be completely irrelevant the day after? And I thought no. So, more what we're doing is, you're going to get my feelings, predictions, and then after the Battlescroll drops, we can have a look at how things went in regards to, you know, how I felt emotionally about it. So that's what we're doing today. So, yeah. Now, if it doesn't come today, I'm going to be looking like a right fool. But given they've announced it, okay, and given that in the past it's always been a Thursday, you would think that it's going to come out today, okay? Alright, so first of all, Beasts of Chaos. Sorry, guys. Okay, now if I had some thoughts on what was actually going to change in Beasts of Chaos, right? We can go look at these war scrolls, right? But the thing is with Beasts of Chaos, is there's just so much just random garbage in here that doesn't do anything, alright? For some reason this is bugged. Let me just refresh this. Ooh. Hello. Yeah, so, I mean, if you just look at these list of war scrolls, right? Okay, most of the heroes are not really good. So, Beast Lord's pretty trash. Shaggoth, this is going to go down, right? We all know this is going to go down. It's 270 points for 10 wounds on a 4-up save single caster. It's going to go down. It won't go down enough. It'll go down like 20 points. And then we're going to know that, okay, Bestigors are probably going to go down as well. They're 200. They'll go down to like 180 or whatever. And all this is fine. But like, all this stuff isn't that good anyway, right? So, yeah, there's a few factions in here that are like this, right? Which we know are just going to be kind of the same. You know, historically neglected factions, I would say, are what was going to enter in here. Now, Beasts of Chaos did have a period where they were, like, insanely broken, right? When they got those new war scrolls and the new Herdstone war scroll back in the day, and they had, like, 4-up Rally, and that was when Rally wasn't limited, and I mean, I think you literally could have ran whatever you wanted at that point and it would have been insanely broken, but then they got rid of the summoning, they brought in the new book with all the negative play experience heroic actions, and then they nerfed the book, like, over and over again until we didn't see it very much. So, I think, to me, that says that they're probably at a position where they don't want to see this book at that high of a level. So they're probably just going to, like, give some nominal buffs across the place because the army's not that good, but not in a way that's going to meaningfully move them. Bone Splitters. They suck, and they're still going to suck. Ripping pepperonis, because I think Games Workshop wants to get rid of them. You know, we can all do a bit of this. Alright, we can do a little bit of this. Yeah, if this was an orc, this would be even better, but it's green, right? We can do a bit of that, but it's not going to work, is it? Yeah. Okay, so that's Bone Splitters, ripping pepperonis, but we all know this. Okay, we all know this. Alright, Daughters of Cain. I'm going to come back to cities later, right? That's a bit spicy. We're going to put that at the end, alright? Daughters of Cain. Alright, so here's the thing. If everyone else gets nerfed, Daughters, we have Marathian the Bow Snakes, good battle tactics, and a grand strat. That probably could be decent. Okay, but there's kind of a ceiling to that army, right? It's never going to be stonks, okay? This army will never be here, alright? Unless there's some, like, insane points reductions to, you know, for example, like the foot heroes or They all kind of need to go down, in my opinion. Or the cauldrons need to go down. What else needs to go down? Most of the foot troops, especially Sisters of Slaughter, stuff like that, right? It needs to go down. Stuff that's not capable of shooting, and they're not particularly slappy in melee without a million buffs, should just be cheaper than it is in Daughters of Cain, right? Okay. So, there is a possibility with this army of playing some kind of, like, late game style. Alright, I'll acknowledge that, because, okay, we get the 5-up ward in the late game. So we can play some slow early game style where we do nothing, and then wait to the late game. And in that army list, it's probably better to not have Marathi, okay? But then the problem is the bow snakes are not worth it. So, okay, we could have a big block of Blood Sisters, and we could have some Witch Elves and stuff, and this is all fine. But at the moment, I just think you get it on paper, and it just doesn't look that appealing to me. So, I would love for Daughters of Cain to get to a point where another build would be taken, aside from Marathi and the Bow Snakes, or Marathi and the Spear Snakes, okay? Those are probably the two main ones you take at the moment. I think the Bow Snakes are better. But I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm not going to put them in Copium, alright? We can be slightly hopeful about this army, alright? I think that it will be better than it is now, okay? So, it deserves a Hopium. Okay, Feck. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How do I feel about Feck? Well, okay, well, first of all, it's not that good now. Alright, I've seen some really great players lose a lot of games with Feck. Not to say it's not possible to win with the army, or that the army isn't good. It's just, I don't know, it looks like it's been preemptively nerfed before it was released. So I don't know what's happened in the I've just seen that I've moved the Doomium. Come up you go. I don't know what happened in the development cycle. Perhaps it got nerfed in the middle of the development cycle. Looks a bit weird. But I think, here's my hot take, it's gonna get nerfed when the FAQ comes out. Alright, so it's Doomium, alright? It's big Doomium for me. I think that this is gonna be very, very much sad times for the Flesh Eater Corps players. I'm thinking that Usharan is not going to be able to stack the same, stack the same delusion, and all sorts of other things, right? Blister Skin, you're not going to be able to chant with the Shurin and that sub-faction, stuff like that, right? I think we're not going to be able to do it. I think all the janky stuff, we're not going to be able to do it. We're going to get a fat no, and then what's going to happen is the army's just going to be whatever, right? I'm feeling the Doomium on Feck. I'm not feeling the hope here. Alright, now, there is the perspective of, okay, so Feck's a new book, and even if they nerf the rules, they're not going to do points, right? I'm assuming. So, okay, if everything else gets nerfed, then maybe. But my problem with Feck is a lot of the armies that could get buffed could be a problem. Yeah, that's my problem with Feck. Like, for example, if Stormcast Dragons, or any version of Stormcast gets buffed, and we're running around with 3-up saves, can Feck really deal with that? like say stack Stormcast. Does Feck have any answer to dragons that are in that way, right? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything it can do about dragons. What else would there be that's a problem? I mean, even something like Stonehorn spam from Ogres, okay, if that gets buffed for any reason, that could be a problem. Pretty much anything that's high armor could be a problem. And then anything that just does a lot of damage really easily could also be a problem. And then anything that also has a lot of recursion could be a problem. Like, you look at an army like Nighthorn into Feck, right? And, okay, so if Nighthorn have the Cruciator, and you're trying to kill it with Crypt Guard, with Crypt Horrors, I don't know. Is it that easy? You're going to be probably like -1 to hit and -1 to wound on their turn. And on your turn, okay, you're probably only going to have the -1 to wound and -1 damage. But it's still going to cut a lot of your damage output, right? And when Nighthorn slap you back with some, Blade Geist or whatever, it is going to hurt, right? So, against the armies that are getting buffed, I'm a little bit worried. And then against all the armies that are getting nerfed, we already know that Feck are bad. Okay, we already know that they're terrible against OBR. Alright, they're terrible against, let's see, Nurgle. They're terrible against Skaven. Okay, all these things are true, right? Terrible against Seraphon. Okay, but I'm assuming that's dead. So, I'm worried. Okay, long story short, I'm worried. I really like this army. I really want it to be good, but I'm worried. Alright? I'm not 100% on this army. Okay, Fire Slayers, big Hopium, boys. Big Hopium. Alright. Now, my only worry with Fire Slayers is I'm not sure that GW gives a flying fuck about Fire Slayers. That's my only worry. Okay. Like, if you're going to pick any army on here that probably GW is likely to care the least about, it's probably Fire Slayers after Bone Splitters. So, but what do Fire Slayers have? Well, they have this new shiny unit, right? They have, you know, the old Lofnir, what are they called? The Droth Keeper thingos, right? Oh no, they're called the Flame Seekers. Sorry, that's the name of the Army of Renown, which is not good, I don't think. But I think these Flame Seekers in a regular Fire Slayers army will probably be the way. The reason being is they have no rend. So if you don't take them without access to the rune, I think that's a bit of a mistake. Yeah. Now possibly the Army of Renown will just get play because Gargants are probably going to be super good in the meta. And it's pretty good into Gargants. Like actually great into Gargants. But I just don't like how in that version of the army you don't have the 4-up spell ignore from the Battlesmith. And also he doesn't have a ward, so well, I guess he has the 6-up, but yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe it's alright. I don't know. I'm more into just vanilla Fire Slayers personally, but either way, I think this army will be interesting. Especially if there's any kind of, like, you know, there's been some rumors floating around, right, about some kind of systems change, where there'll be a battle tactic for, like, armies that don't have a wizard. And if Fire Slayers get that, that's going to be great, right? Especially since, yeah, they have boosted casting from their terrain feature, right? So that could be interesting. Yeah. Just gonna open this door because it's hot as shit in here. You know, believe it or not, it's February in Japan, but it's 19 degrees today, which is just insanity. Like, anyway, yeah, Fire Slayers. I'm feeling good. I think you're probably all feeling good about Fire Slayers. Okay, next we have the Gitsarinos. All right, Gits. All right. Before I say how I feel, let's give a quick summary of where Gits are at. Gits are fine, alright? Gits are middle of the pack. Well, probably better than middle of the pack. Slightly higher than middle of the pack. Better in real life, for sure, than on TTS, because they're an army that rewards people choking when they play against you, because, okay, if you make a mistake against Gits, it could go horribly wrong. They've got great scoring, but the problem is they can just kind of just fall over and get annihilated, right? That's the problem. They've kind of got their old problem again. So I don't think they're in any world deserving of any nerfs, but I am 100% certain that they will get nerfed, okay? Because they have a problem where, okay, at super high competitive level, this is not an army that's, you know, completely game breaking, but at a casual level, this is terrible. I honestly think they can't keep it in the game as is. It's just too oppressive to play something like Squeak Herd in a casual environment. Now, I don't know if that's how they would frame it. I think that they probably just think that the army's actually really good. I don't know what they have to support that, but because even the win rate on their thingy is not even that great. So I think it's like average, like 50%. So, yeah, but I think this is Rip and Pepper and his curse. I think this army is going to be like fully dead. Maybe the Trogs would be okay, maybe. But my experience with Trogs is you play someone who has -1 to wound and you just want to cry. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not feeling good about the Gits personally. Okay, I didn't that deep kid. Shark's getting nerfed. That's obviously going to happen. That was, I mean, last Battlescroll, we all thought it was great at the time. But if we're honest, it created two major problems in the game, in the form of sharks and screaming bells. Okay, and from that perspective, maybe it wasn't so great. So sharks are gonna get nerfed, and stuff will fall down. But I'm feeling a Doomium, guys. Again, thralls are gonna go down again. Is it enough to make them good? No. A lot of the shooting armies are gonna get nerfed. Against which Idonet didn't even have a good matchup. I don't know. I'm not feeling super good about this army. All right. Iron Jaws. I'm sorry. Oh no. What have they done? Oh no, it's not gonna work, is it? I just know every time we get these battle scrolls, the destruction armies, just for the most part, just get completely shafted, man. I don't know. I think Ard Boys will go down like 20, and maybe some of the new shiny models will as well. But I mean, maybe it's like Copium, right? Maybe it's like the same kind of spot that they are now, but they're really bad now. Like one of the worst armies in the game. It's between. I'm gonna go Doomium. I'm feeling down on this. Like, I think Art Boys will go down 20. And a 200, they're alright. But I don't know. I'm assuming Big Y is going to get nerfed. So I guess for Iron Jaws, that's maybe a good thing. But I don't know. I mean, we got a battle tactic last battle scroll, and that didn't do shit, did it? So I don't think they're going to get another battle tactic, are they? So 20 points here and there is not going to mean shit. Oh, poor lads. Okay, Cruel Boys, on the other hand, I'm feeling pretty good about, because this army's actually okay at the moment. And it will probably get buffed again. So I'm not going to say Doomium, and I'm not going to say Hopium, but I think some very light Hopium for Cruel Boys, okay? Some very light Hopium. We're within little 15 mil canisters of Hopium for this Cruel Boys army. What do they need to do? A lot of the heroes need to go down, like a lot of them. What else needs to happen? I would like Bolt Boys to go down a bit. I know that sounds weird, but I did some math the other day on Bolt Boys that made me realize that they're not as good as I thought they were. Basically, now, the thing is, Hobgrots, right? If you look at Hobgrot shooting, okay, it's 8-inch range, okay, and I know that's not great, but if you actually look at the profile, alright, and then you do the math, okay, and considering they basically have 19-inch range if they run 6, right? Because they can run and shoot. Okay. They're honestly not that much worse at shooting than Bolt Boys. Like, they're about the same. Bolt Boys better with buffs. These are better unbuffed. Alright? And that makes me slightly depressed about Bolt Boys. Okay. Now, the thing that makes me have slight hopium for Cruel Boys is more in the respect of what will get nerfed than necessarily what will happen to them. Okay, so if we just look at some of the terrible matchups that they have in this game. Alright, Seraphon, unplayable. Alright, Seraphon, terrible. They're going to get nerfed, okay? OBR is terrible. They're probably going to get nerfed. Nurgle's terrible. They're probably going to get nerfed, right? What else we got? Korn is okay. That's kind of okay. Slanesh is actually pretty good for Cool Boys, sometimes. Maybe. It's okay, right? I don't know. I think a lot of these top armies, Cities was terrible, right? And I'm assuming that's going to be dead. So a lot of these armies the Cruel Boys sucked against are getting worse. So that means Cruel Boys get better, even if nothing really happens to them. So they're going to get better. Not a huge amount, but they'll get a little bit better. Maybe the 44% win rate will become a 46% win rate. Okay? As someone said in the chat, they just need to rewrite it. But they won't, okay? So, I propose that instead we get allowed to do an extra dirty trick at the start of the game where I get to kick my opponent in the balls. And then if we have that, then maybe we can win the game. All right. Though shout out to the guy who did go 5-0 with Crawlboys recently. Oh, I didn't mention it in Gits, but someone apparently went 5-0 recently with 320 shooters. Okay. And just for some reason in my head, I just know that someone in Games Workshop would have seen that and then would have gone, can we change the Battlescroll so shooters go up 10 points? So I'm going to bet, I'll put seriously good money on shooters going up 10 points, alright? Alright? Shooters are going to go up 10 points, okay? That's going to happen, alright? Because of that guy. Okay? Trust me. Blades of Corn. Okay, so some stuff is obviously going to change here. So, the Coven of Thrix is going to die in a house fire, as it should. Get thrown into the sea. Get burnt, thrown into the sea. Alright? It's going to die. But with everything else potentially getting nerfed, it's interesting, right? Because Khorne was one of the best armies already. In some people's opinion, the best army, right? So, okay, losing Coven of Thrix sucks, but normal Khorne is not even... Like, it's honestly about as good as Covenant Thrix, I think. So, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go pretty strong Hopium and Khorne here. I reckon they're gonna get nerfed, but it's not gonna be anywhere in terms of parity to their peers, okay? Alright, Caradon Overlords are 100% gonna get nerfed, but they're still gonna be stonks, alright? Okay, now why is that? Well, because I don't give a fuck if I'm gonna lose like 10 Arcanauts, alright? Like, if you're gonna just like drop 100 points off the army, this army just does not care about that, alright? It's still gonna have insane battle tactics, and if you add another battle tactic into the game, which is given access to only armies that don't have a wizard, right? Then you're giving them another fucking tactic, alright? So this army is guaranteed to be insane. Just when you come back after the Battlescroll, and trust me, this army is guaranteed to be insane. All right, it's already one of the best armies. It can basically play against almost anything. Like over on Release the Beast, we've had the Feck and KO game played like quite a bit, right? And you'd think that because Feck has all these bodies in recursion, it would be a good matchup for Feck, but it's not. And the reason it's not is because of the battle tactics, and the KO can just do absolutely nothing and win the game. So until they deal with the battle tactics, which I'm assuming they're not going to in this Battlescroll, this army will be insane. And if everything else gets nerfed around it, like if all the armies that have as good scoring as it get nerfed, then yeah, I mean, it's not going to matter, is it? This army's still going to be insane. It's still going to, like, it might even be the best army in the game after the Battlescroll. I don't know, man. Cities. It's pretty Doomium, guys. There's absolutely no way that this is going to be allowed to exist in the game, right? Right? No. I mean, we just know that the points to nerf cities are so clear in my head that I just think they're going to get absolutely destroyed. Now, the points they're going to nerf are going to be the Warforger and the Command Core, obviously. Those 2 points, right? Okay, Fusiliers are not a problem on their own. It's those 2 War Scrolls. So I'm assuming that something like the Mortal's going to melee only, and, you know, for example, like the Command Core only being able to heal, like, I don't know, maybe they're only going to heal D3, or they're only going to be able to heal D3 to each unit or something, right? Maybe the Whisper Blade will be, I mean, the rumor was that it's going to be 4 up to cause something to cost 2 command points instead of just turning it off, right? And then I'm assuming that the Command Core will also go up in points, because they have kind of a slightly offensive, like, wounds to points ratio for a support unit, right? I mean, they're basically 18 wounds for, 160 points on a 4-up save, which is offensively undercosted. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went to, like, 220 points. Like, if they went up 60 points, that's the normal costing for that kind of unit in other spots of Age of Sigmar. And then I think the Warforger will probably stay the same points, but the spell will go to melee only. And what else will happen? I don't know. Maybe Talia Vedra or something will get buffed, right? Maybe the melee aspect of the armor will get buffed. But yeah, we'll have to see whether that's playable, but for now, I'm feeling pretty Doomium on Cities of Sigmar. I think it's going to take a pretty rough hit. Okay, Lumineth. I don't think that anything is going to happen to this army that matters at all. I think probably like cows will go down a bit. Ballistas might go down. Maybe the regular foxes will... I think the regular fox is probably going to go down. Yeah, I think the regular foxes probably will go down. I don't see any reason why this army wouldn't be good. With other stuff getting nerfed, right? Yeah. In my head, I can't see a reason why they wouldn't be good. I mean, if you look at the armies that are sort of up here where they are, it looks pretty good for them. Yeah, they're going to be a worry at Worlds. Old Mate Spoon on the French team is going to be a worry. Yeah, they're going to be good. Teclis is going to be good. I wouldn't be surprised if he went down a bit. But given they just wanted Lanta World, maybe that won't happen, but he probably is like 20 points too expensive. We'll have to see, I guess. Alright, Nurgle. I'm feeling pretty neutral about Nurgle. They're going to get nerfed, right? But just a matter of how much. I'm assuming, I mean, the rumor is that Sloppity is going to get... Something's going to happen, right? I don't know if they're going to slightly change the wording on the pile-in, the no pile-in, or just get rid of it, or what's going on there. But yeah, if they drop any points anywhere else, I think it's madness. And they don't understand the army. So we'll have to see what happens, I guess. Okay. We have OBR. Okay. Alright, this one is interesting, right? Because if we go look at OBR, what's interesting about this army is, first of all, the lack of war scrolls, right? And I think the lack of backup war scrolls is an issue. So I think the Morghasts are going to go up in points. And I think Catacross is going to go up in points. And I think Null Myriad's probably going to get nerfed. And then I'm assuming that the Death Riders are also insanely undercosted. They need to go up in points. And then once that happens, it's like, what are the fallback war scrolls here? Because it ain't Mortek Guard. Like, they're okay, but... you know, like if you have Mortek Guard, but you know, maybe you don't take Catacross because it's too expensive. Is the army good? I don't know. The Harvester is insanely cheap now. Mortek Crawler is still not worth taking. The Stalkers have kind of weird rules. I'm not really into them. Yeah, it's just such a small army that I feel like if it gets nerfed majorly, it could be like fully dead. And I think this has the Gits feature where they've realized that at a kind of, I mean, okay, at a competitive level, they're insane, right? They're really, really good at a competitive level, but they're even better at, like, the slightly casual competitive level, because they're, like, I mean, if you just go look at this is, like, the stupidest thing that's ever been printed in such a long time. Like, what is this? Like, let's just take this and throw this straight in the bin, alright? This is so terrible. Like... We don't need to have this. We can have, like, maybe one or two, okay? But there's no way that you're going to say that the entire army can have access to all these command abilities and they can all be used multiple times, alright? Why is it necessary that every model in this army has access to retreat and charge? I thought that was supposed to be Nighthaunt's big thing, right? Why is it necessary that we have that? You know? Why is it necessary that they all can get +1 to wound after they're charged? Why is it necessary that they can have +1 to board, in addition to having normal access to all-out defense? Why is it necessary that everyone in the army can have an extra rend? None of this is necessary, alright? We did not need to have this OCR commands table. And this is going to ruin the fate of the army. Alright? When a battle tome comes out, and we can be excited about these sorts of things because they're strong, right? But much like the Gits Battle Tome, when a book comes out and the design is done in a way like this, where clearly it's just overloaded, right? What will happen eventually is the points will just go up and up and up, and you're going to end up with like nothing on the table, right? And then at that point, the army is not going to be able to play 5 turns of Warhammer, right? You know, in Gits' case, it's going to go up and up and up, and before, when you used to have... you know, screens, chaff, stuff to fight on the sides, and then your 2 big blocks and your synergy pieces. Now you're going to have, like, 1 big block, some chaff, and your synergy pieces, right? Probably after this battle scroll, that's going to be the thing. In OBR, you might be able to have 1 unit of 6 Immortus Guard, and that's going to be, like, your only major threat, right? Because of this. Because it's not balanced for an entire army to have access to all these abilities, okay? It's just not. So, that's where OBR are at, and I think it's going to be down here, because I cannot see it's permissible to keep this army where it is. It's a real shame, because I feel like it's one of those armies that's been really hardly done by, like Gits, with the battle tomes it's received. From a design perspective, just kind of making a mistake every time. For those who saw the Warhammer Weekly show, they were super negative about the design of the OBR battle tome as well. I think it's just a major miss, unfortunately. So we'll have to wait till the next one to see if they fix the problems. I think till then they're probably going to be just nerfed out of the meta. Yeah. Okay, Nighthaunt. Okay, so I did a whole show on this, on the Onwards channel about Nighthaunt Hopium, and I played some games, and I've had time to think, and I'm worried. I'm worried, because it's not a good army at the moment, but I think that if they give like 2-inch reach to the... they're not going to do that, though. But if they did give 2-inch reach to the Blade Geists and Harridans and put them down in points, then maybe we're in, okay? Maybe the army has some potential. I think the support pieces are too expensive still. Like, the heroes are kind of... The heroes are great, but they're really expensive. Spirit Hosts are, like, at 130 or so, insanely expensive. I want to be hopeful, but I think that they're probably going to end up being about the same as they were. Maybe slightly better, but nothing major here. I'm feeling pretty lukewarm about Nighthaunt. Alright, we have Ogres. This is never going to change, by the way. Alright, this is the most hardly done by army in all of Age of Sigmar history. Alright, even more hardly done by than Bone Splitters. Alright? If you just go back and look through every GHB and Battlescroll, this army has never got shit. This army, poor bloody Ogre Mortribes, never gets anything. They're always just like, just put the Thundertusk Beast Riders down, it'll be fine. Just put the Thundertusk Beast Riders down, 20 points, it's fine. That's gonna fix everything, right? That's gonna fix everything. It's all fixed, you know? It's all fixed. All of the problems with all of the Gutbuster units being insanely overcosted, all of the problems with terrible heroes that are... You know what? It's actually not even the Gutbuster units. It's the heroes that are the problem, I've realized. The foot heroes are so bad in this army. Like, I mean, let's just have a bit of a journey here. Alright? Let's just go look at the Ogre Mortribes foot heroes, okay? Oh, God. This always just makes me so sad, because you just know that... You just know that someone thinks that they're worth this cost because of the fact they count as 5 on an objective, right? Alright, we'll skip over... Okay, I think the Blood Pelt Hunter is okay. But I think if he's only okay if you look at it from an Ogre perspective, right? Because he's like, he does a bit of shooting that hits on 4s. And yeah, I can take a command trait to make him hit on 2s, but it's still like... If 140 points... 5-up save? Really? And then we look at the Butcher. 140 points for one cast wizard that has like no abilities. And then the Firebelly he's actually okay, but he's still 120 points for one caster with no abilities. You just don't take these units in other armies, right? You don't take... Okay, here's a 180 point unit that comes with some idiots that just deep strikes. Terrible. Doesn't do anything anymore. Icebrow Hunter. What is this War Scroll? What is this? This is... Oh, I remember when I first read this, I was just like, so you're telling me they took the old Icebrow Hunter War Scroll, which was terrible, and they've decided they're going to nerf it? Oh, what is this supposed to do? Oh, and then the Slaughtermaster, okay, we still have this. We have one of the worst Okay, we had one of the worst spells in the game, and then we decided to make it, like, just as bad. But for a new ability. Tyrant. What is this supposed to do? Okay, it has some stuff. Alright, it can do mortal wounds. But in this GHB, 150 points for a foot hero that doesn't do anything other than... Like, okay, let's look at this Tyrant, right? 3 attacks, 3 trees, -2, 3 damage. 150 points, alright? And I know he has this glaive, but this doesn't do anything mathematically, right? Now, I just want to go to Khorne, and I just want to look at a unit that no one in their right mind would ever take, alright? Where are we? Here we go. Here's Khorne, alright? His Skull Grinder. 3 attacks, 3 trees. Dag 1, 3 damage, right? But, I mean, they can give each other an extra rend. So, effectively, rend 2. But how many points is this? It's 80 points. 80. And it has an actual ability. It can get +1 damage a monster and make them go last. Alright? Now, obviously, you know, Tyrant's got some other stuff going on. Alright? But, I can get 2 Skull Grinders for pretty much the cost of 1 Tyrant. And the Skull Grinder, no one in their right mind would ever take this unit. Alright? So that's where the Ogre heroes are at. Alright? So, those units just need to go down. The Tyrant needs to be 120 points. Alright? At 120, I would take him. Alright? He looks decent at 120. Sword of Master Butcher, 100 points. Alright? Firebelly, let's go 90 points. Alright? This is perfectly fair enough. Okay? We don't need to have these heroes paying such an enormous premium for scoring 5 on an objective. Okay? If you're not happy with that, just take the rule away and make them cheaper. Okay? Because they have no, like... There's no buffing capability, really, of these heroes, right? In other armies, when you take a hero, the hero goes, alright, it's the hero phase. +1 rend. That's what they do, right? And in Ogres, it goes, alright, it's the hero phase. Let me just roll up this D6. Oh, shit, my Slaughter Master just took D6 mortal wounds. Oh, shit. And then I'm going to cast my spell that's cast on a 7 for +1 attack, which is the worst buff you could ever give to Ogres, right? Because they all have, like, 3 attacks and there's 4 guys, right? And you go like, alright, I've got +1 to cast, that's it. I've got 1 spell. If this doesn't go off, the Slaughter Master's done literally nothing for 140 points in the hero phase. Alright, so that's the problem with Ogres. Iron Guts, Gluttons could be cheaper. Thunder Tusk's pretty terrible. But the foot heroes are awful. So that's what needs to change, and it won't change. Alright? But that's what needs to change. Alright, Big War. I'm feeling it's gonna be about the same. Now, they're probably gonna nerf it so that you have to have the right general keyword to use the Iron Jaws / Cruel Boys battle tactics, right? That makes sense. Oh yeah, with Iron Jaws, I forgot to say, but they are definitely going to deal with the fact that, you know how you can, at the moment, you can take big Cricks Cruel Shorts, whatever they're called. The Cruel Boys Regiment of Renown, right? You can bring them in and do an extra battle tactic in Iron Jaws. That's 100% dead, so the army's worse because of that, right? Now, in terms of Big War, probably you're still going to be able to do that tactic if you have a Cruel Boys General. And I think that means the army's fine. Like, you lose the Iron Jaws one, but that one was the worst out of all of them anyway, right? What was good with Big War was doing, like, the 10 damage one, and the Be Within 3 of Terrain one, and the War Point one, right? These ones are super easy, so, yeah, that's Big War. Okay, Seraphon. It's going to be a Rip and Pepperonis, and thank God. If they're not Rip and Pepperonis, I'm going to be so sad. Like, by the way, the person who says Man-Eater buffs, that's Sam, yeah, legend. Now that needs to happen too. Man-Eater buffs, hero buffs, any buffs for Ogres, I'll be happy. But I know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be, here's my prediction. All right, hot take. Thunder Tusk Beast Riders down 20 points. Okay, Iron Guts down 10 points. Gluttons down 10 points. Mornfang Pack down 10 points, and that's it. And is that going to do anything? Nah, not going to do shit, alright? But that's what it's going to be, alright? That's why we're so Doomium, and I'm so upset about Ogres, okay? Just please, my name is Iron Gutsman. Just make my army good. Just please, I've become a rat man. Please make my army good, okay? Anyway, where was I? I was doing Big War. Was I? Yes. I was doing... Oh no, I just did Seraphon. Yeah, they're going to get destroyed. It's going to be great. We're all gonna party in the streets. We're gonna hug our parents, our loved ones when Seraphon gets nerfed. It's gonna be the greatest moment of my life of the last 6 months. All right, when Seraphon gets nerfed, it's gonna be great. I've kind of enjoyed playing this army a little bit. It's kind of like KO. It's like my slight guilty pleasure / alter ego Stuart army. But yeah, it's horrible. Needs to die. Soul Blight. I'm feeling a pretty light Doomium here as well. Again with OBR, someone at GW has decided, I think a little bit like Beasts, that this army we're just going to nerf it over and over again. We're just keep nerfing it. Alright, people still winning it with it, just keep nerfing it. Alright, let's go up again with zombies even though no one's playing them. To be fair, skeletons probably do need to go up in points. There's some pretty disgusting things you can do with breaking coherency in skeletons. They probably do need to go up in points. Oh man, I've seen this play so many times where people go... People find some way, like, I don't know, my skeleton stubbed their toe in my opponent's turn, right? And I've removed the skeleton. And you go, alright, I'm just going to split coherency, just give me a sec. And you go, alright, bet. So, we're going to go down to, like, 10 models. And then it's going to come to my turn. I'm going to do the battle tactic where we return slain models. And I'm going to go, alright, like, 3 in the hero phase, and then 4 up in the combat phase. And, like, I'm almost... Oh, I could do rally as well, right? I'm almost back up to full, got my battle tactic, and I've also just moved, like, basically, like, 5 inches, because we're getting stuff back in different phases, right? Yeah. But other than that, I don't know how I feel about this army. It's okay. But I think it probably will get slightly nerfed again. Okay. Speaking of armies that have gotten nerfed a lot, this one's different, though. This is joining the stonks. It's the stonks department. Here is my number 1 candidate for best army in the game post Battlescroll. It is Slaanesh, because the win rate is so terrible and the army is good. And this means that they're probably going to get buffed. Now, it's possible Blizz Bubs go up 10 points, but that's fine. Alright. I think that they're going to get buffed. Alright. And if they get buffed in any way, they're going to be insane. Alright. Because the army's already so good. Like, we've really realized that over the past few months on Release the Beast, is that this army can really play a lot of matchups. It can just kind of play almost anything. Even matchups you think it really shouldn't, like Seraphon, you can kind of full send, and if the Seraphon player is not fully aware of this strategy, then they're going to be in trouble, right? So, I think Slaanesh, that's my vote for number 1 army post the Battlescroll. There's maybe one other that I maybe would put up here, but yeah, I think Slaanesh. The other one that I think is going to be insane is going to be Gargants. Alright. Because a lot, you know, in a meta where a lot of stuff has been nerfed, this army is going to stay the same, I assume. And it's great. It's already, like, pretty good. I think that you're going to expect that most teams at Worlds are going to be taking this army. I think that's fairly obvious. It's not what it used to be, right? King's Broad Stomp is more of a full send destruction army. It's kind of a better version of, like, Iron Jaws at the moment. Yeah. But I think will be super good. Maybe lower than KO, I'd put them here. But they're definitely going to be great, I think. Slaves to Darkness. I wouldn't be surprised if Be'lakor went up, just because of other armies, right? And if you remember last Battlescroll, they put him down 20 points. Let's put him up 20 points again. Alright, that's probably what's going to happen. Back to 360, where he was, right? Okay. But, yeah. Slaves to Darkness. Oh, I don't know. Some stuff's going to go up. People are going to be coping about, like, oh, yeah, it's better, man. I can fit, like, 10 more Spire Tyrants in my list now, but I don't know. It's fine. The army will be okay. Yeah. Sylvaneth, I think about the same. Be fine. I don't know. I think this army kind of sucks, this GHB, but we'll have to see what happens. I don't know. I don't think anyone has any interest in Sylvaneth at the moment. I think everyone's just lost interest. So, I mean, we even got the new Balthanos guy, but he's, like, kind of not that interesting. He's kind of just like a Stonehorn. You kind of just play him like that, and he's alright, and he kind of does some damage and is survivable, but doesn't really revitalize the army in maybe some of the ways that people were hoping. So, yeah, that's Sylvaneth. Tzeentch. No. Oh, actually, hold on. Alright. Okay, hold on. Let me clarify my thoughts here. Normal Tzeentch, Doomium. Incarnate Tzeentch, probably stonks. So, because we all don't want to admit it, but I think the Incarnate Tzeentch should probably come back as stuff gets nerfed. Especially if like Khorne. I mean, I put Hopium and Khorne, but if Khorne falls out the meta or something, or what else would be bad? Like, I mean, I guess Lumineth is not great. Maybe it's still like, it's probably still middling. Let's put them in Copium. I think that Tzeentch without Incarnate is probably likely to be not good still. It's just all so expensive at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so we've come to Skaven, and another army that I want to talk about at length. Okay, so Skaven. What's the deal? Bells are busted. Plague Sense Bearers are busted. The Furnace probably is also busted. The Warbringer is possibly also busted. In my opinion, the Warp Seer is slightly busted. That's kind of a hot take. But I think those are the main units that you would look at increasing. The reason that the Warp Seer and the Furnace are kind of a problem is just because so the Bell like passing off wounds to clan rats is kind of reliant on there being a Battle Shock immunity bubble. If that doesn't exist, or it's too expensive, then Bells are much worse. So you can choose to attack Bells, or you can choose to attack the synergy pieces that enable Bells to be good, right? So you could leave Bells at the same cost. And you could nerf the Furnace, the Warp Seer, and you could nerf Plague Sensor Bearers. And it actually would be quite interesting, because you probably have to shift to some like Bells and Rat Ogres build, but then that has such massive bravery issues, right? You'd have to like take a big Triumph bid, and then even then that's not going to fix the problem a lot of the time. So the issue at the moment is that you have like the best of all the worlds, right? You have the Bell, you have, which gives you survivability, you have the damage from the Sensor Bearers, and you have the Battle Shock immunity. So you just need to attack a few of those dimensions, alright? Probably two. So you could nerf the Bell and the Sensor Bearers. You could nerf the Furnace and the Sensor Bearers. Or you could nerf, the Furnace and the Bell, alright? I probably wouldn't do that. I probably would guarantee nerf the Sensor Bearers, because even builds without the Bell and Sensor Bearers is still pretty decent. So I probably would nerf at least 10 points on the Sensor Bearers. And then we could go, you know what? I think people probably will want to know this. So let me just set this up. Well, hold on. Let me resize that. Whoops. Now, I don't know if people are going to be able to see the notepad as usual. Let me just like massively zoom in. Okay, so let me just go through what I think the changes should be for Skaven. Okay. Okay. I think you do that, the army's balanced, alright? I think that's all you need to do, alright? And then you're getting way less, alright? I wouldn't go any lower than 40 on the Bells, in my opinion, but this is what it should be. Okay, now, in terms of the stuff that I would want them to change, alright? Okay, so this is what they should do. If they're gonna buff stuff, right? How do I spell his name? What else? Maybe like I don't know. Maybe this. I don't know. I don't know what's it about the corruptor, man. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to say up here. No, this needs to happen too. That 100% needs to happen. I would do that instantly. Maybe if you're gonna do that, probably bells could be plus 30. I don't know. Maybe this could be 20. That's probably more fair. Yeah, something like that, right? Okay, this one will 100% go up in points, but it shouldn't. This thing sucks. Okay, this needs to go down in points. I don't know why people keep using this unit, but in my opinion, the Grey Serum Foot sucks. He doesn't do anything. I don't know. There's a bunch of other things you could buff, right? Like probably like Rat Ogres, -10. That probably will happen. Master Molders probably need to go down 10. I don't know. A bunch of stuff you could do here, right? But I think the main thing is getting these nerfs in. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No. I don't. This is what I think will happen. So, what should happen? Alright? And then this is what probably will happen. Okay. I'm going to say they're going to go for 6 changes. I reckon they're going to do this. I reckon they're going to do this. And I think they're going to do this. Okay. And then they're going to do this. I reckon they could even do that. If they don't know about it, they could do that. And then, I don't know, probably this, right? Oh, no, they're probably going to do, like, this. That's probably what they'll end up doing. And then maybe, like, maybe this happens as well, right? This is probably what's going to happen. Okay, so if I think that's going to happen, alright, for me, it stonks, alright? For me, that's not enough to do anything. I don't even think my list would change at all. I might lose 2 Rat Swarms. If you guys don't know, I've been running a Warbringer and a Warps here. I stopped running a Furnace a while ago because it's too slow. Yeah, so my list probably won't change, but the one, which is also my list, which is the Richie / Tom Morsey list, which I made, which is the Furnace and 3 bells, that's probably dead, right? It's probably like going up like 100 and, let's see, you're gonna get 60 points from here, 20 there, and then 60 points here. So it's going up 140 points, right? Which is too much. So that's probably dead, but other versions of the army will be fine. So I think Hopium or Stonks, right? Maybe Hopium. No, let's go Stonks. Okay, Stormcast, I think, are also Stonks. I think this army's already really good. I don't know why no one's playing it. I think the usage stats are decent, but like in terms of at the competitive level, not that many people playing it. Yeah, Vanguard Raptors are really good. I've seen Vanguard Raptors and Dragons list doing pretty well around the places. Darren Watson on onwards runs a fairly, we would call it a fairly hacky hack list with with shooting, with Vanguard Raptors and lots of things to do damage at range. But this army, especially if it gets like, points drops or maybe even another battle tactic, it will be, the potential will be so good, I think. Yeah. So, I don't know where we're at in terms of the Battlescroll coming out. Let's see, what's the time? I haven't got the time on here. It's like 6:30 here. I remember it coming out at 8. Okay, so I think I'll end the stream here. But I will come back later probably when we actually have the Battlescroll. So the live reaction will be on onwards, but then I'll come back probably on the YouTube and we'll do some more chatting then. So yeah, I hope I'll see you on the other side, I guess. For those of you on onwards, I will see you there when the Battlescroll does drop in probably like an hour and a bit. I just need to clean up the kitchen and then get ready for that. But